Okay. Welcome to Signature Views. I'm the host, Signature, and this is my guest, Jadé.
Yes.
Yes, could you please introduce yourself for me? Tell the people who you are, what you do.
I am Jadé B of JB Art and Designs. It's art and designs because not only do I do art, but I like to actually design different T-shirts and stuff, and I also do graphic design. So that's the design part of it. You will be seeing me do one of my paintings that I'm working on. It's actually a huge piece that I decided to do in oils. I just started experimenting and playing with oils. So, but this is kind of a poignant piece for me because of what I'm into as far as spirituality goes. So this is one that will be one of many that centers around African spirituality.
Gotcha.
So that's what I'm working on currently.
Okay, bet. Well, let's get into it. So, are you a fan of music?
I am a huge fan of music. Actually, most of my pieces are based on music. They're based on lyrics that I've heard in songs that have spoken to me, or concepts that I tend to envision as I'm listening to different music.
Got you. So, what can you say helped bridge that connection between the visual art and the music? Was it is it the lyricism, or is there any certain aspect, or was it just a natural connection?
Um, that's hard to say, honestly, because I guess it could possibly be the lyricism because of how my brain works. I'm one of those people that I see everything that I hear.
Whoa.
So,
Yeah, I get that.
yeah, like I can't just hear things, I see it play out. So when I am listening to different things, I'm actually visualizing a scene in my head of what that is, what that looks like, the colors and emotions that go with that. Like all of that's going through my head at that time. So for me, especially when you put that to music, even from me writing before with poetry, it's a visual thing. So it's not just the words, but it's also the visual portion of it. So when I find music with like really good lyrics and it's actually saying something, then yeah, it sets off that movie in my head.
So, do you have any specific genres that you're a fan of, or that you're hovering closer to than others?
Um, I would probably say what would be described as neo soul. I don't know if it's still described as neo soul, but it was at one point. But yeah, I like soulful artists like Mumu Fresh and Janae Aiko. I like people that trigger deeper thought, with their music, or who, like for me, like Janae Aiko will say the things that we all might be thinking, but says it in a way that it's not raunchy or ratchet. It's still very lyrical.
Oh, so would it be more not softening the blow, but just artistically communicating?
Yes.
Just a little bit better.
Yes. I have a term that I like to use for her and myself and others. It's sophisticated,
My head is on my face.
It's ratchet, but it's sophisticated in the way that you present it, because we all have that in us. I don't know a person that doesn't at some point, but it's all about how you do things and how you present it, so it just, yeah, we could talk about, smoking and sex and all of that, but it doesn't have to be in a grotesque way. It can be in a beautiful way.
Well, I mean, coming from my angle, I can outright agree. Because being rap focused, I love rappers. Well, when it comes to folks talking about the streets,
Yeah.
specifically the streets, like it's hard for me to believe the rapper. They either have to word it very well, like paint such a vivid picture that I believe it, or be so horrible that I know it can't be lying. It can't be this trash.
Right.
And lying. Somebody funded you because they know you're not lying. But like it's like, so I outright understand exactly where you're coming from with that. Do you have any songs that you use as examples, or that you could give the listeners as examples?
Of hers, of Janae Aiko's, it would probably be, I think it's called "You Should Have Called Me." And it's all about basically her telling the dude, you know, we don't do this over here in this hood. You should have called me because my boys and my family and stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna need you to watch your back. But it's done in such a way that it's like, it's so cool, it's so smooth, it's melodic, it's all the things that music should be. But it's talking about, you know, basically being around the way on the block and you messed me over. So, you know, it's real cool. And then like with Moo Fresh, I almost did not check her out because of the name of Moo Fresh. I thought, you know, I did. Like, I'm, you know, I have my mode and I stay at it. So, but when I actually gave her a listen, the deep things that she talks about, you know, she talks about, you know, Black power and, you know, our spiritual level and reaching back to our ancestors and, you know, all those things. So it was really, really cool. I love her music for that. You know, and she talks about those things about, you know, being connected with the earth. But with that name, it wasn't what I expected to go with it. Yeah. So, you know, but I'm glad I found her, that I did not see, because she's almost, I would say she's a daily listen for me. Like, yeah, she's almost like her music is almost a spiritual mantra.
That's beautiful right there.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly how it's supposed to be. How did you get connected to how did you get connected to the music?
The first song of hers, what was it? Erykah Badu had posted on her Instagram a snippet of a video, and it was her portion of a song with Tunda Fire, and it's him, someone else, and her, and it's like the last verse that Erykah posted was her, and it was just talking about, you know, trying to get people to wake up and realize what's going on in the world, but people being comfortable with their ignorance. And it wasn't until 2020 that people really started to pay attention and wake up and realize what's happening within the world and with our people. So that was the first instance. And then I kind of like didn't really, like, I loved that and I saved it, but I didn't really like connect with who she was until I was listening to Jill Scott's podcast. And they had her on there and they were talking about all of her accomplishments of how, you know, she's a musical artist, how she has foundations, how she, you know, is really for the Black culture and the cause and everything. And listening to her speak, I was like, I need to find this person. Like, who is she? And then I pulled up the rest of her music and I was hooked. Like, I just started playing it on repeat and listening to all the music and all the lyrics. And I was just like, oh my God, like, this woman is amazing. Like, she is absolutely amazing. So yeah, that made me stuck. But it was funny because I don't know if on Tunda Fire's her name was different, but at one point in her music, she went by her full name. So it's Maimuna Youssef.
Oh, wow.
And then, but now I think like now her albums that she does now is Moo Fresh. So that might have been like the disconnect. So then when I went back and I was listening to his song, I was like, wait a minute, that's the same person.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I've been hooked with her ever since.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, let's see, let's go deeper. Do you have a favorite, like, what would be like a top five? Do you do top fives as a favorite artist?
I probably could. My all-time favorite is actually Janet Jackson.
By Janet.
Why Janet?
Yeah.
Um, I related to her on a personal level. Just her journey with being the younger sibling, for one, because I'm the baby of the family. Being soft spoken, because that's been me my whole life. I speak probably 10 times louder now than I have most of my life.
Oh, wow.
Being a soft singer, because I used to do that as well. A lot of people feel like she's not extremely vocally talented. I highly disagree because I know how hard it is to hit the notes that she hits as light as she does at that range. It's not easy. So just her talent in that hooks me, and then her lyrics have hooked me a lot. I think I know Velvet Rope was one album that the whole album was just on point for me. And I think the other one was Demita Joe, but a lot of her music is talking about like the pain of love and the pain of being true to yourself when it's hard and being betrayed by people, but still having to find your own voice, and find your own truth and be honest about that and be real with that and live in that. And so for me, that spoke to me a lot, especially growing up, because I was still trying to get there. I was still trying to find that voice and be outspoken, even though I was raised not to be outspoken. So it was all about being able to find the me within the noise, So yeah, so she's always been my top artist, and then just her performance can't be beat. Like her performance can't be beat. Of the people, that when you look at artists, she's one of the people that you compare other performers to.
I get it.
So yeah, her performance can't be beat.
Man, I need four more.
So I would have to say, of course, Janae Aiko, Mumu Fresh. Who would be two more of artists? Nas is one of my favorites, honestly. And
hip hop.
Yeah, hip hop. And who would be a fifth? Because I love so many artists. Trying to think who's on my playlist the most.
Exactly. Very good question.
Yeah. I would have to say Patty.
Oh, wow.
Patty. Yeah.
Wow. Well, what songs are your favorite from Patty? Okay, on the top of the Patty list.
On on top of the Patty list, I just love her as an artist, period. But on top of the Patty list is If You Don't Love Me By Now. If You Don't Know Me By Now. Yeah. I love what she did with that song.
There was a video once of a breakdown. I think they might have been practicing for a performance they had together. But it was Patti LaBelle and Elton John. I think it was on TV One or something like that. I can't remember how I caught it or why I was watching it back then, because I was ignorant as all outdoors still. But I remember them two going back and forth, breaking it down, and it was going, because it was like, it's your song, Patty. It's your song, it's your song, Patty. But then at the end, I think it was still during the practice. He had on this big old nugget of a ring. I'm talking about like huge, like some type of crystal or something. Nugget just sitting there on his finger. And she cause he on the piano. So she leaned over the piano and was like, oh, Elton, I love that ring. He'd snatch it off his finger. There you go, Patty.
I bet that's cool.
But it's those moments like that that you catch from those stars of them with other stars, and they wide open, flossing those heavy skills they got, just swinging them swords around.
Yes.
Clinging them to make them sharp, but no, I got back to yes, she right. So what are they? Let's see, who else did you pick? Why Nas? Let's get to hip hop. Why Nas?
Because I love lyrics.
Oh,
I
yes.
love lyrics. And Nas, yeah, that's
What are
one
some
of
of your favorite Nas songs that are quotes from Nas that put him up there?
I don't, so as much as I love him, he's not one that I could like quote. But I could tell you my favorite song of his is In Reverse.
Oh yeah, you're talking about Run It Back. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact name of the song, but it goes like it's like I'm gonna start at square one. The bullet hole closing in the chest of a nigga. Now
Yeah.
I was like, it's like then he said now it's back to square one. Yell and shoot, don't please.
Yes.
Bullet holes go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, that's my favorite. And just, yes, I love talent. And the talent you have to be able to tell a story backwards and it still sound like, again, it still sound like it's supposed to sound. It's still giving all the things.
Exactly, yo.
Yeah.
And that was one of the best moments of it all. It's him just like, cause he raps it all the way literal to the beginning of getting a phone call of the dude letting him know that the guy's on the block that they about to go kill or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then, well, for me, we'll keep going. Is that one of the only ones, or was you remember one of the first ones that by Nas that fucked you up? That was like, oh man, I need to hit what?
No, I think that was the first one that really fucked me up. That's the one that made me start actually paying him any attention. Because I never, honestly, growing up, was very into rap. It wasn't until like my adulthood that I even like started giving rap a chance.
What?
Yeah.
Was there a reason?
Probably the way I was raised. Probably the way I was
That
raised.
would have a lot to do with
Yes,
it.
yes. I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, so a lot of music was off limits. And of course, I was from that era and of that parental era of, rap is bad and it's, all horrible and what they're talking about is, horrible. So, as good as you could get in my house was Will Smith because, he was Will Smith. Exactly. And I even almost got in trouble for one of his songs because my father misheard something that he said. And it was bad. So, it wasn't until adulthood that I even began to give rap a chance. And, but Nas was one. I do enjoy Rakim. I like Queen Latifah.
Rakim is the God MC.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Come on, keep going.
I finally like MC Light, giving her a chance. But yeah, even now, for me, when it comes to rappers, I try not to be too closed off, even though a lot of stuff is, for me, repetitive in style, but I try not to be too closed off. I try not to be I try to take my old lady hat off and be like, okay, give it a chance. And just listen to the lyrics and, and just find but it's for me, it's always back to what are you saying? What are you saying and how are you delivering it?
Yes.
Yeah. Because even sometimes I've heard some lyrics that I'm like, I like, and I'm just like, but what you doing, though? Yeah. But
is there any artists that you found that were complete left fields to what you thought you would like, or caught you off guard? That was just a random pick and it became. I remember you said that it's sort of like that with Moo Fresh.
Yeah.
So is there anyone that caught you off guard like that? Or
not that I could think of, because I think because I have such a wide range of music interests, I can listen to anything. There's country songs that I like.
I get that.
So I don't think there's anything. I'm usually pretty open when it comes to music. I think I catch more people off guard with the things that I listen to.
Yes.
So, if I'm in my car, I don't think most people expect me to pull up, full into giving, Evanescence at the top of my lungs.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah.
No, not at all. We're not going to expect that.
Yeah. So, but that's me. yeah, if you just listen to my playlist and let it go, you're gonna hear a little bit of everything.
Well, it's about the balance. And like me myself, coming from being so rap focused, being a crate digger, where I purposely stopped taking time to listen to so many oldies, listen to older rap, listen to full albums for the purpose of like, you know, oh, let me listen to a Rakim album, let me listen to a such and such album. I can understand and appreciate, you know, the variety of music and get it, you know, because it helps you. You know, really, really, especially like I was talking with somebody about like sampling and things of that nature back in the day when they were building and creating hip hop. There was no hip hop to sample.
Right.
So therefore, you know, they used every and anything they can get their hands on, and also for the purpose of variety, the purpose of being different. They went and chose so many different, obscure, random, completely different records. So I understand.
Yeah.
Completely. Because like for me, that's one of the biggest joys of it all is finding those samples.
Yeah.
Got you. Is there anything you don't listen to? Anyone that you've heard? Anything you stay away from? Like,
Cardi B. I can't do it. I really can't. For me, again, lyrics are key. And a lot of her music, for me, sounds like they typed in to a computer, what should we put together to make a hit, and just spit something out. And then that coupled with the fact that she sounds like a 3-year-old trying to rap, it just doesn't do it for me.
Oh, damn.
Like I've tried, but I've yet to hear like one of her songs that I just was like, okay, I can rock with this. Like for a minute, I wasn't a fan of Nicki Minaj, but then she put out Pink Print, and I was like, oh, okay, this is it. Like, okay. And I started like picking up on a few other her songs and just listening to the lyrics, and I'm like, okay, I can feel it. Okay, I get where it's coming from. It may not be something I listen to all the time, but I have my moments where I'm like, okay, I get you, I feel you. I can't. Like, it's never clicked with Cardi B for me.
That's hilarious. Downright funny. I wouldn't expect that answer. Well, earlier you mentioned being inspired visually by artists. Who is somebody that you could say has pushed you or, you know, made you create a lot, or like you can attribute creating to?
I have several. I've done some stuff with Jane Aiko songs. I've done some stuff with Pink. That probably should have been in my top 5. Pink. I've got a couple with her. Alex Isley. I did a piece. I think I did 2 pieces from Alex Isley. But yeah, and then I have stuff that's like on a list to be created. That's based on music. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you been to any concerts before? What's your favorite?
I just went to see Janet, and that was on my bucket list.
That was going to be one of my questions when you brought her up earlier. Did you go to her when she...
Yes. So I went to her last year, and it wasn't specifically her. It was the Cincinnati Music Festival.
I get it.
But she was the reason why I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going. Janet's going to be there. I'm going. Like, because she had pretty much stopped performing. She wasn't necessarily doing concerts. So I was like, oh, she gonna be there? Okay, I'm gonna go. So had no clue she was gonna end up doing a concert series this year. And so then when they said that she was gonna be in Savannah, I was like, there's no way in the world I'm not going to that concert. Absolutely. I don't care what bills don't get paid. I'm going. I'm there.
Wow. But you know what? It's worth it because you only live once, bro.
Listen, you can't run it back. So hey, go ahead and go. But it was amazing. Like I said, she is a top-notch performer, and for her to be in her 50s and still be performing that way, and I was just like, okay, all right, so I'm going back in the gym, and
yeah, man,
because I got to get on her level.
And you got to get your inspiration from somewhere, you know.
Well, and then so most of my life, most of my childhood life, I was called Penny because they always say I looked just like Penny. So I was like, okay, Like my twin is leaving me. I got
Wow,
gotta get it back up.
Well, that brings me to a question I wanted to ask. Being that you come from that strict childhood, are there any songs that you jammed back then or that you were allowed to get access to that made it through to the day that you still listen to or that are still working?
I would definitely have to say Janet. Of those, I think my favorite then and now is Again. It's Again by Janet. I don't think at that point in my life I had experienced a deep enough heartache, but but you could not tell me that I had not. But
Oh, you know what? I've never thought about that aspect. We was so young.
Yeah.
You know what? The quickest one I can attribute to that is Stay by Jodeci. I remember loving Stay, but I'm having no idea why.
Yep. Or like one day, you know, because my parents had their music that they listened to, and of course, you know, you're there, you're listening to it, and we were in the car. I can remember, and I can't remember the name of the song, but it was I think it was, who did that song? I think it was Roberta Flack, but the one, It's Morning, the sunlight shines. Yeah.
That what's the name of that song? Cause I ain't words like I hear the song playing in my head. Slept the night away.
Yeah, As We Lay. That's the name of it. Yeah.
As We Lay.
As We Lay. Yeah.
Oh, that is.
And I used to sing my heart out to that song.
When you talk about, see, that's something like when you talk about pre-ratchetism, I guess. Pre-ratchetism. That's all that they mentioned, like how they got down on hip hop not too long ago. Somebody was talking about. I need y'all to lean back off of new school hip hop. Cause what the fuck does the hip hop, the hibbit, and the hibbity bibbity mean? So we need to.
Oh yeah. Oh, they had a lot. Like I remember me and my girlfriend used to laugh at. It was this one song that said, "Pull up to my bumper, baby. I need you to drive your limousine." Like, now you know what you was talking about.
Pull up to my bumper. No. The one that stands out to me was I think I always mess it up and want to say it's Data Ruffin, but it's Bobby Womack. I think he really trusts me too much. That song is fucked up. Boy, that is not how you do your home show. Yeah. That is not how you do your home show.
Yeah. It was a lot. But I think that's why I like Janae Aiko's, because she talks about stuff within this, you know, newer age and newer generation, but she still kind of uses that old school style of still making it melodic, still making it something that you just kind of groove to and feel. But you talking about some really, really ratchet stuff.
Somebody was trying to use like an example. They was like, "Oh, we're so tired of like." I think it was talking about Cardi B or something. It was like, we need more Janae Aiko's or something. And somebody came a month underneath it. They was like, I guess he ain't never heard Pussy Fairy.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
But on the other hand, it was like, man, it's like she does have that one sad album. It was like, the one with the, I think it might have came out like 2013, 2014 around that time. Because she had that one hit on there that, I don't need you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
The Worst. That's the name of the song. Yep.
I was like, I can't really get jiggy with this shit. Like, I need to survive. I feel hated right now. Like, I've done something.
Yeah. But I like that song. So I love that song. Just because it's on some real heartache type of stuff. Like, you know, it was basically like listen, I gave you a chance. Like you wasn't nothing until you was in my arena, and you gonna treat me like that? Like, oh no.
You know what though? A rapper finally spoke on that, and it made me feel so good because he was being like he was speaking on it. Freddie Gibbs, he said, "My ex won't take me back, but without me, that bitch wouldn't have got a ring."
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that so deeply, yo, because it's like, especially as a rapper, it's overly vulnerable to say, I made that bitch better, man. I made her a better woman. I put her on feet, taught her to be a housewife, and now she out here rocking that ring.
Yeah.
Like, but, so I double back to another point. Who else you waiting to see? Is there anybody else you waiting to see live, or anybody that blew your socks off live?
No, I think Janet was it for me. I would love to see Will Downing again. I saw Will Downing before. I would love to see him again. I would not mind seeing Justin Timberlake live. For me, doing a concert, it has to be, I want a show. I don't want just you singing. I really want a show.
Yeah.
So
Tear that whole down.
yeah. So for me, it's nobody that I really like. Oh, I know they're a great performer and I really want to see him. But I have been surprised. So when I went to the Cincinnati Music Festival, I did not know Anthony Hamilton performed the way he performs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he did an amazing job. I was like, wow, I never would have thought that, like, oh, I really want to go see Anthony Hamilton. So I would not mind going to see him, like, just him in concert. That would be really cool. And, what is his name? Uncle Charlie. When I say, so his whole thing was, I don't give concerts, I party. That's what he kept saying on the mic. I don't give concerts, I party. And y'all can party with me. And he did. And I was like, okay, so I wouldn't mind seeing him again because he gave an excellent performance. Yeah.
Wow. But you know what though? That ties into like something I mentioned to you when you were saying my brand off the rip with your paintings. That goes into knowing your realm of an artist. Knowing that, hey man, I may not be the top vocalist, but I'm a badass singer and entertainer.
Right.
So I can get up on here like James Brown used to get up on that bitch, sweat out that perm, and then everybody leaving that arena in love.
Yeah, and Patty too. That's why I love Patty, because Patty goes scream and sweat and take her clothes off and kick her shoes off. And I'm like, I'm cool with it. I love that. I love seeing passion in people's work. Yeah, and that's Patty for me. Like the passion that she has and everything that she does, it's amazing.
And that's something that, to see, I remember listening to the Aretha Franklin in Paris live. Yo, and that's something like I even remember her stopping and doing it, like telling the folks, like, like, blah, blah, blah. We're not about to just do the same old thing.
Yeah.
Blew it down.
Yeah.
Blew it down when I was at the one music festival and saw Jill Scott do her thing. My homegirl was pointing out all that's freestyle. That's not the song.
Yeah.
But that's what the ticket price is for. That is what the ticket price is for. Yeah.
And that's Jill. I do want to see. I was supposed to see her when she came, and I missed it. My budget wasn't right, but. Like I said, I listen to her podcast, so I love her story behind the things that she does. And I can say, like, between her, actually, so it's her, Asia Graydon Dansler, and Laia St. Clair. And just listening to them talk about the different experiences they've had around, like, the music and the news and radio industry. And it's really cool as an artist to hear it firsthand because it changes your perspective. Like I would say for some years, I've been in my own way, just thinking that I had to present a certain way and had to have things perfect and had to, do things a certain way before I put myself out there and have every duck lined up and, but listening to them talk about, how like Jill was saying, if I can get in the room. She got into one studio and didn't have anything to do. And she was like, well, your molding on your walls look like it need to be resurfaced. Can I sand these down and resurface them for you? Just so she could stay in the building. And I was like, that for me, like, was like, okay, you have different things, put yourself out there. Don't have to be perfect, but get it right. And then once you're there, show your talent for all the other things that you have. Always put yourself in the place, so, and it's really cool to listen to that from other people. And, it's inspiring, but that's where I'm like, I'm in that mindset now of you never know what's going to be the right person, what's going to be the right moment, what's going to be the right opportunity that can shift things overnight. But always put your best forward, even if it's not what you think you're supposed to be doing in that moment. In that moment, still put your best forward. Like she was like, I wasn't an actress. That wasn't the thing I was doing. But when they came and said, can you act? Yeah, sure I can. I'll figure it out.
For real though, yo. That's the difference between making sure you gonna get it and only wanting it one way.
Yeah.
I say that's something I tell folks a lot of times when people be wanting blessings, they try to think it's gonna come a specific way. Saying I want my blessings in apple pie and french fries. But man, because you got a whole buffet of food and ain't no apple pies or french fries on that bitch.
Yep.
Yeah, but see, that's the day. So that's wild to hear though. That's awesome. What's the name of that podcast? What's that?
It's called J.L.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like Jill, but it's J.L. Yeah, it's real cool. And they talk about a lot of stuff. It's real cool. I like it because it's kind of like sitting there talking with your homegirls. Like that's the vibe of it. So, and like for me, like I say, I've been in my own way with not necessarily wanting to put myself in certain places because of my own, I'll say partially ego and partial, like I say, wanting to represent my brand a certain way. Being an artist, when I first started actually showing people my art, I would get upset when people are like, oh, you're an urban artist. No, I'm not an urban artist. I'm an artist. Oh, you're an urban artist. No, I'm not an urban artist. I'm an artist. So I kind of leaned away from events that were ran by our people, events that were in particular places, because I'm like, I don't want to be framed as an urban artist. I'm an artist. I do fine art. Yes, it has Black people in it. It may not have Black people in it. Who knows? It depends on what I feel like, but I didn't want to be coined. But I had to kind of hit my head against the wall a couple times trying to do other things, trying to get it the way that I thought it was supposed to look. Wow. Then I realized, I was like, this ain't where I'm supposed to be. This ain't where I'm supposed to be. It's why it's not working. And I need to stop asking for it to work, but not paying attention to when something is put before me as an answer. And so since I've done that, like this year has been way more successful than the previous years I've been painting. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Well, since we're on a personal note, what are some albums or some songs that you cannot live without? You gotta hear that. You gotta listen to that whole album at least once a year. You gotta jam that song. It's on the once a month rotation, the once a week rotation.
Yeah.
Current or all time. Give them to me. What's some of
them? Velvet Rope by Janet is one. I have to hear that at least like once or twice a year, the full album. Pink Print is one. The emotional roller coaster that goes on in Pink Print is just, it's out of this world. Let me see, full albums. I play the soundtrack to Black Panther a lot.
Wow.
A lot. Yeah. A lot. Especially when I'm feeling a little militant. I play that a lot. Black Violin, I think what's the name of their album? Stereotypes, I think is the name of the album.
Oh, wow.
That will be one. And then I don't know which album it is from Move Fresh because it's just on my playlist. Like I have a full Move Fresh playlist. Yeah, so it's a couple of her albums that just get played a lot, like weekly. Weekly, yeah.
Well, to bring things to a head, tell the people how to find you, how to support you, how to get in touch with you, please.
So everything for me, whether you're looking on Instagram or Facebook or even my website, is JB Art and Design. So if you find that, you'll find me. That's on everything. But I do most of my posting, honestly, on Instagram. That's usually where I post like what I'm working on lately, the events that I'm a part of. They're all going to be most definitely on Instagram platform for the most part. And then my website, it shows like my artwork, my full art gallery, my digital gallery with my graphic design work that I've done, as well as like the t-shirts that I've designed is all on there. Yeah.
And what is the website name?
JB Art and Design.
Okay,
yep.
Make sure.
Everything is JB Art and Design. The full website is jbartanddesign.com. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
for
you.
Being on Signature Views, and yeah, we're gonna end it there. Peace, everybody.
Peace.